Welcome back to Custer and Wolfe, Building a Watch Company. RT Custer. Today, I'm bringing you all about Kickstarter, why people use Kickstarter to crowdfund their companies, and why we used Kickstarter to crowdfund and initially accept pre-orders for our first product, the American Artisan Series, all for Vortic Watch Company. So Kickstarter is a really cool website built around the concept of crowdfunding. And it's not the only crowdfunding website out there. It's not the only way to accept pre-orders for your projects or your products, but that's what it's built for. And it's probably the most well-known. Kickstarter and its competitors create this really cool environment where you, as an entrepreneur, or you have an idea for a new product, a new thing you want to bring to market. Artists use it for songs, movies, things like that they want to create. And basically you say, here's my thing. Here's my either minimum viable product or my prototype of my new idea. I am accepting pre-orders of this idea from the crowd, from anyone in the world that wants to give to this project in exchange for a huge discount. Typically, you as a backer can give money to the Kickstarter campaign and pre-order this thing that does not exist yet, that as long as this person hits their goal on Kickstarter and raises enough total money from crowdfunding, from the whole crowd and everybody that is purchasing this pre-order, as long as they raise enough money, then they're going to make the product and sell it to you first. You get one of the first ones that ever exists, and typically you get a discount on it, which is pretty cool. That's crowdfunding. It has nothing to do with equity. There is crowd-funded equity companies like Republic.co and Start Engine and things like that, where you can raise capital and people own a portion of your company for a very small investment. Kickstarter is not that. Kickstarter is simply pre-ordering a product, typically for a discount, all using that crowdfunding concept. The reason we're talking about it today is we launched Vortic Watch Company originally back in November of 2014 on Kickstarter. We had a Kickstarter campaign for the American Artisan Series, and Tyler and I froze our asses off in my garage in November and here in Colorado, filming our Kickstarter video. The video, the primary video on the top of the campaign or the project, is the most important part. You sell your thing, you pitch your new product idea, you explain the story behind it and why somebody should pre-order it, why you're doing this thing. For us, we told the story of American watchmaking, and we told the story of how most pocket watches are thrown away. And we described what we wanted to do and say the American Artisan Series not only is one of the only truly American-made wristwatches, but we're upcycling pieces of American history. We're preserving this history inside a wristwatch. We're taking a pocket watch and turning it into a wristwatch. It's called the American Artisan Series by Vortic, and it's these two dudes in a garage. That's how we started. We raised $41,000 in 30 days. Most Kickstarter campaigns are about 30 days long. The project, it gives you 30 days to raise enough money to hit your goal. Our first goal was $10,000. And basically the concept was, could we raise $10,000 for pre-orders of this product that didn't exist at that point? And Tyler and I joke about this all the time. We basically glued together parts and pieces to say this is what we want to do. Could we raise 10 grand in 30 days or less for this new idea? If yes, then we would do it and we would start a company and it would be called Vortic. If we didn't, then people don't care and people didn't want to buy our thing. A lot of people in entrepreneurship, they call it a minimum viable product. Let's put this minimum viable product or the first prototype out there in the world. And product market fit. It's how do you find product market fit? Does the market, your crowd that could fund you, want to buy your product, or at least the minimum viable product at a discount? We checked all those boxes. The answer to all that was yes. We raised $41,000 in 30 days. We started the company, and here we still are. That was 2014. We are, again, why we're talking about this right now, is we're going to do another Kickstarter campaign this fall for our new product line. And that's again, why we started the show, building a watch company. We're not just building one product, the American Artist Series. We want to build lots of other things. And so we're going back to Kickstarter. And I wanted to put together this video of what is Kickstarter and give you a little history on it. So quick history of Kickstarter in general. There's been over 21 million backers, or the people that have pledged money to pre-order, not just watches, but just all kinds of stuff on Kickstarter campaigns. Over 7.5 million repeat backers. So people that hang out on Kickstarter and like to fund or finance or help by these new companies by pre-ordering their products. 7.5 million people come back and they do it again because they think it's really cool to be one of the first ones to get these products. Kickstarter has had over $7 billion pledged. So $7 billion have been transacted on the platform for these pre-orders since 2009 when Kickstarter was started. And from 2017 to 2023, the funding amounts of all these campaigns and the total of the company has more than doubled. So activity on Kickstarter, it has just continued to increase over the last 5-6 years, because people, there's this huge amount of people that love to have one of the first things, that love to help a startup or a new company get off the ground. But it's not just for startups. Kickstarter has companies like Vortic come back and put another campaign, like let's say we started our company on Kickstarter, but we're going to do another campaign to come back and say, hey, here's a new campaign, new project. Here's a new thing we want to do. We're an established business and we could take pre-orders just on our website, but we're going back to Kickstarter because there's energy around the Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, and people give us so much feedback and ideas and comments and all kinds of other things. When they pledge and they pre-order, they're not just getting a discount, they're part of the community of people that get the first one. So there's just this huge excitement around Kickstarter. And a really good example is the Smithsonian Institute has done multiple Kickstarter campaigns. Obviously, massive institute. They don't need to use a platform for this. They could probably do it on their website, but they went to Kickstarter because of that crowdfunding and that virality effect. And they've used Kickstarter to raise funds in order to preserve certain really famous or very important relics for the museum. And I'm sure by pledging, by giving money to the Smithsonian, it's not a donation to their nonprofit by any means. You're pre-ordering some kind of product. And so those backers got something in return, which is pretty cool. The most famous wristwatch campaign on Kickstarter and the highest pledged, so the highest amount raised, was Pebble Time. And if you remember back in 2015, and which was right around the time we were funded too, Pebble raised $20 million on Kickstarter for what became basically Fitbit. It was one of the first smart watches, and they had all these great ideas and they had all these patents on a smartwatch. They put it on Kickstarter, raised $20 million, and then ended up going on to being sold. They sold that company, Pebble, to Fitbit itself afterwards, which is really, really cool. So that's just one example. There's been hundreds of campaigns about watches that have raised millions and millions of dollars. So we're in good company there on Kickstarter. I did want to say just a few and I've said a lot of words that are probably only used on Kickstarter. So there is the Kickstarter campaign, which they call a project. And a project or a campaign on Kickstarter is basically a website. It's a website built directly for this product launch. So our next one will be called
Automatic Watches Built in the USA by Colorado Watch Company.
We're going to make a video like this that's like the whole story behind why Tyler and I are creating this project. We're going to link out to these YouTube videos to say, here's what we've done over the last 12 months, 2 years to build a watch company and get here. We're going to have a video as you scroll down this little website or the project. We're going to have videos about every single part or component in the watch that we're making. Say, here's how the case is made. Here's how the crown is made. Here's an interview with the company that manufactures the movement inside the watch, right? So people can really know exactly what they're pre-ordering. And those people are called backers. So if you go to Kickstarter and you pledge, or you do a pledge, that's another term I wanted to talk about. You pick a pledge option and you purchase a pre-order. You are pledging money to be put towards a pre-order for that project. and you are now a backer. So you have backed the campaign. On the right side, as you scroll down a Kickstarter campaign, you'll see pledge options. So it'll say you can pre-order a t-shirt for $20. You can pre-order a watch for hundreds. And then typically there's a big pledge option at the bottom where it's like for 10 grand or something like that. You get both the new watches and you get a trip here to Colorado and a private tour and lunch with me and Tyler, right? There's usually like a high ticket option there too. So we'll have that as a pledge option. So you're pledging money towards this as a pre-order. There's also a goal. The goal is really important. So there's a publicly set goal. And if you don't hit that goal, then the project goes away and you don't actually make the product. So we set a $10,000 goal last time. And we said, if we don't make at least $10,000, then we won't bring the American Artisan Series to life. Thankfully, we did. We made over 40. And so we made this. Our goal for our next campaign will probably be $250,000 because when we're going to do something now, we need to raise a lot. We need to go big. And so that's what we're looking at now. There's also stretch goals, which are a really cool thing. So it's like, let's say our goal is $250,000. We can say when we hit 400,000, you get an extra leather strap with your order, or you get an extra 3 different case color options and things like that. It's if you, as the backers, pledge enough money and bring your friends and they pledge money, then you get lots of other perks. And that's a stretch goal. When we reach this, we'll do this other special thing that we didn't think we could do with only $250. That's a stretch goal. There's also this other cool concept called an early bird. So if you scroll through the right side of these pledge options, some of the top ones are early birds and they're cheaper. So it's a deeper discount for being one of the first people there. It's like the early bird special, at Cracker Barrel or something like that, right? It's like you got there at 5 o'clock, you had dinner before anyone else did, and you get a discount accordingly. So that is the early bird pledge. And it's really, really cool. If you're one of the first people to jump on the Kickstarter campaign and pledge your help, then you get either an even deeper discount or like an extra bonus, which is awesome. And when we talk about discounts, typically on Kickstarter, we say, this is the ideal retail price for this product, and here is your Kickstarter price. So by pre-ordering this product on Kickstarter, you get it for 10, 20, something like that % off. And the reason that is all a thing, and that we're doing pre-orders on Kickstarter and we're crowdfunding, is because when you order something, when you pre-order a product, you don't get it right away. Typically, there's a few months, sometimes 6 months. In our case, when we did our first campaign, it was like 9 months between when somebody backed us on Kickstarter and when they actually finally received their discounted product. And that is very normal and that's expected. And typically at the bottom of a Kickstarter project, there's a timeline that says, if our campaign is successful, here's what happens next, here's what happens after that. So that's the history of Kickstarter, crowdfunding, why we use it, why we love it. I hope that answers a lot of questions for you. But if you have any other questions about Kickstarter, about crowdfunding, please put them underneath me here in the comments on YouTube or send us an email. Look out for Vortic Watch Company's next Kickstarter campaign coming very soon. We can't wait to tell you more about it. Thanks for tuning in to Custer and Wolfe Building a Watch Company. That was my quick overview of Kickstarter, crowdfunding, and why it's important, especially for Vortic Watch Company, our upcoming Kickstarter campaign. All the things you need to know about Kickstarter and why we're using it. Please subscribe here on YouTube for future videos about other things that we're working on. We love sharing the behind the scenes, how it's made aspect of what we do here at Vortic Watch Company. And for that, definitely head to vorticwatches.com and subscribe to our newsletter. We'll see you soon. Your parents or your grandparents never went to Cracker Barrel for early bird special? No? Oh, man.